Hey, my beloved family of God, it is so nice to see you again. Another week in the Word of God. I hope your soul is prospering and you are encouraged. My name is Dwain Esmond, and I thank God for you. I thank God for this journey that we're on. We're growing in a relationship with God, growing in our relationship with God. That's our study for this entire quarter. And I don't know about you, I have been blessed. It's been a good quarter. Just going through some of the basics that we should know about how to actually be in relationship with God and the nuts and bolts of that. We talked about prayer. Well, now we're talking about one critical point. We're talking about faith and having faith, because without faith, it is impossible to please God, right? Those that come to him must believe that he is, that is, that he exists, and that he rewards those who diligently seek him. We'll get to that, I'm sure, in this lesson. But we begin our walk today, our journey today in Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. The New Living Translation says it this way: faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of what we cannot see. Faith shows the reality of the things we hope for. Faith is the evidence of what we cannot see. Faith is critical. I don't know. How's your faith? Is your faith blooming? Is it a little tree stump? Is your faith, growing up nicely? It's a young tree. Maybe it's got some leaves on it. Maybe not quite full fruited yet. But how is your faith with God? The Bible tells us that faith is a measure of belief that God puts within us. Romans chapter 12 and verse 3. God gives us a measure of faith. Ephesians chapter 2, 8 and 9 says that it is the gift of God. It is not of works. It is God's gift to us to believe. He gives us faith. How's your faith? The Pharisees in today's lesson come to Jesus. Come on, everybody. Just give me a sign. That's the title. Just give me a sign. I'll believe. If you give me a sign, I'll believe. People can get a lot of signs and still not believe. Some of us say, if I was on Mount Carmel, and I saw fire come down from heaven, ain't no way Jezebel was going to run me off and have me suicidal like she did Elijah. That's not going to happen. If I saw it, I would believe God could do anything. If I saw the waters part, if I saw the Red Sea parted, if I saw axe heads that float, if I saw 5,000 people being fed by loaves and fish, I would believe. That's what we say. But in spite of all of that, we still sometimes don't believe. One of the things that Moses warned the children of Israel about was the danger of forgetting the goodness of God, of what God has done. In fact, in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 7 to 10, he says to them, I am telling you, especially verse 9, don't forget what your eyes have seen, what your ears have heard. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verses 2 and 3, he reiterates it again. Don't forget, remember how the Lord led you and the way he kept you. The Pharisees come to Jesus, Mark chapter 8, 11 and 12, and they say, Master, if you're who you claim to be, you want us to believe in you. If you're who you claim to be, show us a sign. We'll believe if you show us a sign. But listen to this from the Desire of Ages. This is Ellen G. White in the Desire of Ages. She says this: these signs were not what the Jews needed. No mere external evidence could benefit them. What they needed was not intellectual enlightenment, but spiritual renovation. They needed an entire renovation of their spiritual lives. That is what would have changed them. Sometimes we lack faith. Sometimes we feel like we're not able to believe. But, Thomas was one of those disciples. He represents many of us. Thomas said, Lord, if I don't put my hands and my fingers right in the actual nail prints, I won't believe. Jesus said to Thomas, blessed are those who yet not seeing believe. John chapter 20 and verse 29. That's our study today. You don't need a sign. You just need to read the signs you already got.